Good morning, students. I'm Professor P.P. Dodmani from Mechanical Department, AITM Belgavi. I welcome all of you for the today's session, that is Module 3. In the earlier lectures, we had discussed about components of hydraulic systems. The the main components of hydraulic systems are control valves. That those control valves we can categorize it as flow control valve, pressure control valve, and direction control valve. So totally the hydraulic system which depends on these control valves. So to operate any applications, controlling these valves are very important, and knowing these valves is very important. So about those components we have explained in the earlier classes about flow control valve, pressure control valve, and the directional control valve. So in the last class we had discussed about pressure relief control valve. So what is the function of the pressure relief valve? In a hydraulic system, what happens most of the times, there will be a variation of the pressure. So that pressure has to be maintained constantly, or we have to maintain required pressure throughout the function. So to maintain that function, various types of valves are available, and that valve we have discussed in the last class. Just a moment. That we have discussed. So these are the classification of control valves, which I have already explained about it. In a flow control valve, the function of the flow control valve is to maintain the speed of the actuator. That is the main function of the flow control valve. And pressure control valve, the function of the pressure control valve is to maintain the required pressure inside the hydraulic system. For example, to run any application, the required pressure is 25 bar. So that 25 bar has to maintain thoroughly or until completion of the that function. What happens during opening and closing of the valves, there is a pressure is going to be varied. Due to that, maintaining pressure is very important. For that, pressure control valve we are using, and under that different types of pressure valves are available: pressure relief valve, pressure reducing valve, unloading valve, and sequence valve. About this pressure valve, uh, pressure relieving valve, pressure reducing valve, those all things has we already discussed in the last class. So in today's class we are going to discuss about directional control valves. These directional control valves we are going to study. We already covered this section in the last class, and flow control valve we are going to discuss in the coming videos. In today's class we are going to discuss about directional control valves. So directional control valve, what is a directional control valve? The directional control valve which direct the fluid, so in which direction the fluid has to move and the piston has to move, whether the piston has to move upward or the piston has to move downward, or whether the piston has to move backward or a piston has to move forward. So it gives a direction to the movement for the piston, so that a function can be performed. So that is the main function of the directional control valve. The directional control valve, which is basically categorized based on the construction. Firstly, based on the construction, that is ball seat. It is not a, it is a it is a ball type seat or a poppet valve. And second is a spool valve, and third one is sliding spool valve, and fourth one is rotary spool valve. So based on the construction, these direction control valves are categorized. And second one is based on the ports. Based on the ports, these direction control valves are categorized. Port means what? In a direction control valve there will be openings. So if there are two openings, that will be called as a two port two ports, and if there will be a three ports, then it will be called as a three-way valve, and if there is a four ports, then it is called as a four-way valve, and if there is a five ports, then it is called as a five-way valve. And apart from that, it is also classified based on the position of the valve. So there is one is a two-way position valve and one is a three position valve. So basically the position, it shows the in which direction fluid is moving. So if the position is 1, the fluid enters from the top, and if the position is 2, the fluid is enter from the down, and position at the center, it is a neutral. And apart from that, the direction control valve is also classified based on the manual activation, that is push type button or a hand lever type buttons, and it is also and based on the electric type or a solenoid activated activation, and hydraulic or pilot activation or pneumatic activation. So in this way, these direction control valves are categorized. Now we are going to discuss about ball and spool type control valve. Here in the figure you can see this is the poppet or ball type seat valve. So basically this comes under directional control valve. So in direction control, what we have to do, fluid has to reach from pump to the piston. See, this is the pump and this is a cylinder. The fluid has to reach from this to this point. Here in the middle, that flow control, this direction control valve is going to come. This is the DCV. This we call it as a DCV. DCV, directional control valve, that is poppet or ball seat valve. So here the ball, we are calling it as a ball or poppet type seat valve because this is what the component which we are using is a ball, and it is taken a position on a spring. For that we are going to call it as a ball seat valve. Now the fluid has to move from this pump to cylinder. How it is possible, just check. Here you can see this is the ball seat and this is the oil in. From the pump, oil is coming inside the direction control valve, and there is a ball is placed above this line. This is the ball seat and ball is here. Now oil has to reach at here it is the cylinder. Here it is the cylinder. Here it is the cylinder. So here it is the cylinder. Now because of this ball seat, the oil from the pump, it is not able to reach. So if we have to reach here, what we have to do is, there is a push button and there is a push button or a pull button. So By operating this button, when we operate this, when we pull it, so this position of the ball is going to be changed, so it will be reaches somewhere here. Due to that, what happens, there will be opening in the valve. Due to that, fluid will be flowing from this point to this point easily, and the piston starts to move. So in this way, this poppet and spool valve operates. Poppet is nothing but what? Only the shape is going to be changed. Once we, ball means it is a circular one, poppet means a rectangular one. A rectangular rod will be placed here. This is a poppet or ball type seat valve. And next one is spool valve. In spool valve, same, the fluid has to reach from pump to the actuator. Now see here, this is the spool. Spool, it is nothing but a rod. Two rods they are using basically. Now this is the port or a pump. From the pump, the oil is moving to the actuator or a cylinder. This is the cylinder. Now, and this is the operating button. This is the operating button. This is the operating button. Now oil, there is an opening, so oil easily can be flow from pump to the actuator. Pump to the actuator. But what happens, if I want to stop the flow of the fluid from pump to the actuator? I don't want to supply the fluid from pump to the actuator. I want to stop the operation. So what I can do? I can pull this button. So when I pull this button or operate this button, this pull position will come from this to this location. So this blocks this pull is blocks this entire area. Due to that, what happens, fluid is not able to pass from pump to the actuator. So fluid is going to come from the whatever the remaining oil or fluid which is remaining in the actuator, that is going to come to the tank, that is reservoir. There will be an opening for this position, so oil will come and stored in the tank. So in this way, this poppet, ball seat valve and spool valves are operated to control the direction of the fluid. These are based on the constructional type. So this poppet valve, this spool valve can also be categorized as rotary spool valve and linear type spool valve. Linear type spool valve means it is whatever we have discussed, that is the linear type of spool valve, and rotary means there will be a gear arrangement will be used to control the flow of, to control the direction of the fluid. So with this I'll conclude here. In the next class we are going to discuss about remaining direction control valves. Thank you.